Thank you. Senator McLaughlin.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a couple of questions back onto water quality in South Australia. If we could. It's been a number of constituents in the Riverland have suggested to me that the disconnection of Lake Bonney has increased the salination for irrigators downstream, and I'm just querying whether that's something that's caught the attention of the authority or yourself, and if so, whether there's any action from a Commonwealth perspective.
So well aware of that. During the floods, the local government in the area disconnected Lake Bonney to protect, I think it was their sewerage infrastructure. On reconnection, their saline water has flowed into the Murray. That is a matter for the South Australian Department to manage. That spike in salinity in the river dissipates relatively quickly as it is diluted by the floodwaters, but certainly that was an issue that was carefully considered in its arrangement, but it's not something that either the MDBA or the Commonwealth Environmental Water Holder are a decision maker in.
Can I just interrupt for a minute? Did they put out, I seem to remember, some alerts about the salinity?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that probably would have been the state though, wouldn't it?
Yes, it was done.
Yeah.
I'm not
to warn the farmers not to, yeah.
I'm interested in whether the council took advice, and I'm just trying to understand and unpack the extent to which yourselves were involved. I'm not looking for someone to blame. I'm just interested in the process and how much the Commonwealth support the Commonwealth gives in these sorts of circumstances.
We were not engaged in that in any significant way. It was a matter for the South Australian Department to work through.
And do we have any understanding of whether there are any long-term impacts, or, as you say, we're sort of quietly confident that the floodwaters will wash it all through?
Some highly saline water has come out of Lake Bonney. It'll flush through and be gone. I think it was a really challenging time for the South Australian Government because they were balancing the protection of critical infrastructure against those environmental impacts.
When will we have a better idea whether the salination has declined? In months, weeks, or
you can see it receding and declining now, and that spike did not extend all that far downstream before it was diluted. So you see that in over days and weeks that decline.
So when you say not that far down, we're talking kilometres, or I'm
yes.
not trying to pin you to it.
Yes, kilometres.
Kilometres.
Yeah.
So those affected who are probably speaking to me were the ones probably immediately downstream.
Most likely.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I have for the moment.
Yeah. I think there was an alert system out about that in the beginning, because I think the salinity was pretty high when they first removed the barrier, right? But I'm pretty sure I saw some alerts after that in terms of when it dissipated sufficiently to be safe to use. But yeah, I don't know, we'd have to check with the South Australian.
I was coming from the perspective more of Commonwealth engagement from the state and how it works, less so about trying to accountability perspective. That's all on that issue for me.
Thank you. No, one of the things, particularly through the last couple of months with the floods, has been concerns about those alert systems and how you make sure that everybody downriver knows not just if the properties are going to flood, but also the quality of the water and things to be concerned about. Obviously, there was some conversation earlier about black water events and such like, and I think it is that thing, because obviously, South Australia's had a hard time, not to mention our upstream friends who have also had floods.
There's probably one question, just on the environmental side. So we're sort of confident that the salination dissipates, but from an environmental perspective, any concerns that we should watch for, or
no?
As said, the floodwaters do their job and.
Yeah, look, I mean, the floodwaters, Senator, will export a lot of salt out of the system again as the water washes over the floodplain. What we've been doing when we've used environmental water, there's estimates of up to sort of 3 million tonnes of salt have been exported, perhaps more in the drier times. So we play an important role, not necessarily in the drought times, but in other times to also make sure that salt is exported out of the system by ensuring, the barrages remain open when it gets really dry. Just on the Blackwater down in South Australia, I got a little bit more information about that. The levels, the dissolved oxygen levels didn't drop to critical thresholds, and that's why we didn't see fish kills down there. Fish got stressed. So it was not a hypoxic Blackwater event that moved through the system in South Australia.
Just one more question on salination. So it's the state's responsibility to then continue to measure and publish the salination levels at the various parts of the river?
In South Australia, it's the South Australian Government's responsibility. The management arrangements are slightly different. Upstream of the South Australian border, the MDBA has a larger role. Once the water crosses the border in South Australia, it's in one state, then they manage the arrangements there.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.